Congratulations! You've almost made it to the end of the first module. Excelente, amigos! So, what have we learned so far? Let's go over some of the key points. For instance, tango is a music deeply connected with the process of immigration in Argentinian history, be it African or European immigration. Tango appeared in the poor neighborhoods of Buenos Aires, from where it migrated to the center and became an international phenomenon. Tango reflects the process of modernization that Buenos Aires underwent from the second half of the 19th century. And traditional tango changed from the 1950s, mainly with the arrival of Astor Piazzolla, who incorporated other influences such as avant-garde music and jazz. Latin American music is as complex as the society in which it appears. It is closely linked to key social, historical, and political events. It can be argued that tango became the first popular style at a major scale, and it was the first urban style that reflected the incredible changes Argentinian society underwent from the last decades of the 19th century to the beginning of the 20th century. But to get to tango, one must trace the roots of Latin American music to the indigenous past, which, even though didn't play a role in tango, it appeared later on in other styles such as trova, which we'll discuss later in the course. At a time when tango appeared, the musical landscape was dominated by European music, preferred by the elite. Religious music used to indoctrinate people and advance the political agenda of the church. And military music, which was behind the political discourse of the post-independent nations. Both indigenous and African music were present, but in the fringes, practically invisible from society. Paradoxically, African music was to play an important role in the development of tango. Its influence can still be seen in tango dancing. Tango appeared in the poorest neighborhoods of Buenos Aires. It was frowned upon by the upper class until it became a hit in Europe, particularly in Paris. On its return to Argentina, it was widely accepted until it became a symbol of national identity. However, it is important to point out that tango is the music of the city of Buenos Aires, not, for instance, of Patagonia, the Andes, or the northern provinces. Tango speaks porteño, the Spanish of the port, and it reflects that mentality and attitude verging on arrogance. Tango channels the dreams of the immigrants who arrived en masse to Buenos Aires when the government was obsessed with the idea of populating the country in order to civilize it or develop it. Tango reflects their nostalgia for what immigrants left behind, the mother, their cities, their young loves, and channels their aspirations for a better life. Tango makes their sadness and their ambition visible. It displays individual dramas in a society that is undergoing a great deal of changes. It was all about being visible. Stroll down the new boulevards, sit at a cafe, go to a cabaret or the theater or shopping to assert their presence in the city. Visibility is key to both tango and the people who are claiming a place in the city, particularly those who come from the margins. This leads to faking a status they don't have, such is the case of the compadrón. Fashions were imitated, particularly the latest fashion from Paris, in an effort to appear modern and proud. This incredible pressure to exhibit a social status, real or not, is reflected in the exacerbated passions of tango. In other words, tango goes all the way when it comes to expressing emotions. Nothing is mild. Those who suffer a loss or a betrayal don't mince their words. They put their passions out for everyone to see. They are explosive, like the dance itself. Tango cannot be seen in isolation. It's the product of a society that is very unique, because it was the result of the encounter of many cultures in a place that was to experience enormous changes in a few decades. Tango and Buenos Aires influence each other and cannot be separated. Tango seeks to recreate a long lost past while trying to assert itself in a very elusive present. This gives you the context in which tango came about. If you have time, have a look at Castro's reading because it goes back to some of these issues and it expands on them, revealing fascinating aspects of tango we haven't had the time to cover. However, you're heading in the right direction. Follow the thread, and I'll see you at a milonga speaking lunfardo. In the next module, we are going to look at Bolero or romantic music. We'll trace his journey from the Caribbean to Mexico City and the rest of Latin America. We'll compare it to tango, particularly in the way both are connected to a massive process of urban modernization. We'll also see how both tango and bolero channel individual and social aspirations. Who knows? We may even learn how to write bolero songs. So watch out, all of you romantics out there.